In a 2023 study, psychologist Carmen Tu and her associates used the term proto-acting to describe the player of a video game switching between their own mindset and that of their controlled character. This would be what makes someone lean and twist their body with the movement of their vehicle in Mario Kart, for example. Clearly, video games have a way of resonating with the player simply because, unlike a book or film, they give some control. One game that exemplifies this unique messaging potential is Celeste, a 2018 independent video game developed and published by Extremely OK Games, formerly Maddie Makes Games. The game tells the story of Madeline, a young woman struggling with anxiety and depression, climbing the legendary magical Mount Celeste on a journey of self-discovery. During her climb, she meets several eccentric characters, including, thanks to a cursed mirror, Madeline, a personification of her struggles. The game is a harshly punishing but impeccably designed platformer, a type of game such as the Mario series, in which the player controls a character running and jumping through obstacle course-like stages. While the game is highly challenging, its difficulty never crosses into unfairness. Despite its relatively simple story and art, Celeste brilliantly integrates its gameplay experience into its plot, allowing the player to truly feel Madeline's sense of accomplishment or defeat as the mountain produces new challenges. To understand why exactly Celeste's blend of gameplay and story is so seamless, one must first understand the game's control. In a 2019 YouTube video titled, "Why Does Celeste Feel So Good to Play?", game developer Mark Brown of Game Maker's Toolkit discusses the factors that make controlling Madeline feel so good. Brown mentions that Madeline takes very little time to accelerate between full speed and a standstill, allowing for precise directional control and sudden stops when navigating the game's challenging levels. Lead Celeste developer Maddie Thorson expressed in an interview with Brown the team's goal to make the game work on the player's intent rather than making it a precise simulation of pressing buttons at the correct time. In his 2017 book Player and Avatar: The Affective Potential of Video Games, David Owen elaborates on this concept with a discussion of the flow state, an experience of intense focus and high productivity that occurs during gameplay. If any aspect of a game unfairly impedes the player, they will not achieve flow. Conversely, flow is most easily achieved when a game's movement systems are as immaculate as Celeste's. Like Carmen Tu's study, Owen also makes a comparison between video games and acting. The gamer has a twofold role as both a participant within the game world and as a witness to the events as they unfold, meaning games offer a strange combination of being both an actor and an audience member. Essentially, every design choice regarding Madeline's movement serves to make the barrier between player and character as small as possible, allowing the player to access the proto-acting phenomenon. Along with being conducive to proto-acting, Celeste's control is deftly woven into its story. In their study, Tu and her fellow researchers suggest that the narrativity of a video game varies as a function of the presence of plot and character. However, Celeste's handling of Madeline's abilities in the context of the story proves that a game with a simple, linear plot can still convey a narrative through its mechanics. The message of the game is that it is important to accept even the worst parts of yourself, and that this acceptance is the only way to truly grow and overcome your limits. Madeline, representing all of Madeline's self-doubt and anxiety, conveys this message through the various mechanical ways she affects the story throughout the game. In her first appearance in the game's second chapter, Madeline initiates a chase sequence in which the player must evade her through a series of rooms. This scene uses some metagame knowledge to its advantage. It's not uncommon to face an evil version of yourself in a video game, but Madeline is programmed in such a way that she becomes harder to avoid the faster you move. A player who panics and tries to move as fast as possible will likely be overwhelmed, which is part of the game's message about the flaws with running away from part of yourself. Towards the end of Celeste, Madeline attempts to totally disown Madeline, calling her everything I need to leave behind. In response, Madeline lashes out and throws her down the mountain, visibly undoing all of the progress both she and the player have made. Madeline eventually realizes she must accept Madeline and tracks her down. Once again, Madeline lashes out, but here the roles are reversed. The player must race through each screen to chase Madeline. Madeline is now fighting to embrace everything that she initially tried to leave behind, and when she finally succeeds, the scene ends with her giving Madeline a hug. After they reconcile, Madeline gives Madeline a game-changing movement upgrade. Madeline's main movement abilities are simple: a run, a jump, and, most importantly, an air dash. The dash is crucial to navigation, and for most of the game, Madeline can only dash once in the air, having to touch the ground or a special crystal to recharge it. In this scene, Madeline grants Madeline a second dash. Celeste connects Madeline's character growth, a narrative aspect, to her movement, a mechanical aspect, with great success. The game's subsequent finale, in which Madeline and Madeline together use their new ability to summit the mountain, is the climax of both the story and the player's experience. Overall, Celeste tells a wonderful narrative about persevering through mental health struggles. It combines gameplay mechanics with more traditional storytelling to create a unique way of conveying the intended feelings even to a player who may not be familiar with the subject matter.